Forms. Welcome to the June 2nd, 2025 Commissioners meeting. Title VI forms are in the corner by the door. If you wish to fill one of those out, turn it in at the auditor's office. If you just rise, join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And if you'll remain standing and join Brian in prayer.
Heavenly Father, as we come here before you today, we just thank you for us to gather in a peaceful manner, to be able to do your work, to be able to work for the county of Decatur. We just ask you to watch over us and give us wisdom as we make good decisions. We ask all this in your name.
Amen. All right. Gabe is not able to be with us tonight. He's at a work conference, so it's going to be Brian and I. Brian, do you have an opportunity to look at the minutes for May 19th?
I did. I see no corrections. Look good to me.
All right. I didn't see anything either. I'd move to approve the May 19th minutes.
Second that.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. You have an opportunity to look at claims.
I did, and I saw nothing in there that looked out of the ordinary. I would make a motion to approve claims.
Okay, I would second that motion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Carries. Payroll, any questions?
Same on the payroll.
Okay.
I would make a motion to approve this.
Yeah, I do enjoy still seeing the work from home hours being logged. Not many. And so didn't have any questions on overtime like we did at the last meeting. I will second that motion. All those in favor to approve payroll for May 23rd, 2025, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. That total was for $406,207.92. All right, Todd, Highway Department.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Look, Todd.
Since our last meeting, continue to do regular maintenance items, tree trimming, spreading stone, grade roads, sign maintenance, patching. Items are basically a weekly, daily duty. I've got an IAX conference I'll be attending Wednesday and Thursday this week up in Indianapolis. I've been working on 2024-2 closeout for the grant. There's a closeout letter I got to present to them. So the next commissioners meeting, there'll be a payment in there. I got to show proof of payment. That will need to be approved so I can get that closed out completely. I've been working on 2025 contractor award document, which is after the bid's accepted. And basically I got to do similar to the closeout letter. I got to list all those roads, what was bid on every road, and then end to end for the funding request. Okay, so I've got that pretty much done. I submitted that. I had one error, so they sent it back, so it should be good on that, I think. The town mail housing, their CCMG, been doing the same thing with their, their funding grant. So I've got everything filled out and ready to send in. The only thing I need is the town clerk's signature on that to submit that to NDOT, their funding. 2024 annual report submitted to LTAP. And a big thank you goes out to Christy for helping me with that. But I got that approved and certified.
What's that for, Chuck?
It is, it's the annual report that I have, that LTAP needs turned in by the 1st of June. And it is a bunch of numbers.
All expenditures, receipts, all the ins and outs of everything.
Yeah. So I am not qualified to complete that yet. That's been too much to be trained on. So I asked Christy to do that. She gladly did. I told her next year that I would hopefully be in a better situation where I can come in and be taught, where I can take that on her life. But a big thank you to Christy. We started a little bit on the wedge and overlay, and some of the skip patching. I think they pulled off. They had a job they needed to complete in Rushville, so they'll be back in town on Thursday. I made a comment this morning in the meeting, was we informing dispatch what we were doing. And I don't know if that's up to Glow, but as far as I'm concerned, it's still part of the county. So we need to be involved with that. So that'll be taken care of as well as signage. Target date at the start, chip and seal is 6/9 in the county. They're supposed to be putting signs up on roads that they're going to do a couple weeks ahead of time. I supplied Brian with a map of where they're going to be starting, what dates throughout the county. And those are tentative dates. Weather may be a big issue in that. We still got some rain coming. They won't be able to do their work in those particular days. Either will wedge and overlay or skip patch. So I think both of those are going to be backed up a little bit. So we've got to be, I'm going to be at a conference on Wednesday, Thursday. Tim has a meeting with SC Construction to go over some of the routing that he's selected. See if we can possibly speed that up instead of going demo to hit this area. If he's right around the corner, we could probably do that. So I think Tim,
skip wedge.
Yeah, chip and seal. Well, chip and seal.
Right.
Yeah. So some of the roads don't need skip patching or wedge and overlay. We've supplied a map to Glow to get those roads first. And also, I also supplied him a map of the schedule. So he knows exactly what's coming. He needs to be there. So he's not holding up SC. And so it's going to be a lot of coordination. So this will be going on probably the next 4 weeks, maybe 5 weeks.
I've got a question about that. I wasn't here last year, but I heard a lot of complaints about the chip and seal last year, with a lot of gravel off into people's yards, and maybe not the best job. That's just what I've overheard from people. So is there, when SI starts this, do you go out at the first couple roads they'll chip and seal, and you go out and say, hey, this is what we want, or you've got to clean this up, or how does that work with you?
Actually,
I've had people calling me concerns about chip and seal for last year, saying if it's going to be the same job we did last year, I don't want them touching my road.
Yeah.
So I do have some concerns about that.
Yeah. Well, if anything, I know Tim pretty much addressed a lot of that last year. He's kind of the liaison with all the work going on with the county. He's got his part. I kind of got my part. So that was the first thing we mentioned, our very first meeting with SC. So can it all be prevented? No.
Can we stay ahead of it though, and not get half the county done? Go back and say, oh, you're not doing this the way That makes sense?
No, Tim usually checks out first. I mean, he's usually right on top of it.
The biggest complaints that I received last year was in the preparation phase when they were going along the sides of the roads, widening them back to what their original size would have been. And so when they were doing that berming process, there were areas where there was a lot of debris from that process that had been tossed up into yards. I know I got several calls and went to a number of houses last summer during that process. And then I talked with Tim and Todd, and we got a lot of that straightened out afterwards. There were some issues from some of the loose stone where there were insurance claims that were submitted to the company. Those were all paid from rock chips and things like that. So all of that did work. But yeah, there were some issues. I remember specifically, I think it was 3 houses that I had gone out to. And a lot of that was pre-chip and seal work that had been done.
Anything that was called into the county, we addressed.
I assumed that, but I guess
Whether it
my
was,
question was to get ahead of it instead of being all retroactive.
Yeah.
And have to clean it up afterwards. Let's maybe do it right the first time or not get into that
Yeah.
situation. Does that make sense?
yeah, it does.
So just a couple of things besides notifying dispatch. I know I was talking with Tim earlier, and I have the same map. I'm guessing that you said Brian has. If you can send that, or I can send that over to Dave Henderson so that we can get it put on our county Facebook page, and then keep him updated about when they're going from location to location, so that we can put that info out, so that folks actually know what's going on. I know you and I talked about updating the public on that area. And I think if we were to keep folks informed about the different activities for the highway department, like we do with other departments on there as well, I think it'd be beneficial.
So does Dave Henderson do the county webpage?
Yes.
He's
Facebook.
he's on IT and he handles the county Facebook.
Okay.
Yep. So if you just shoot him, an email or a text message saying, hey, today,
We're doing this.
Yeah. or if you have a road closure because you're replacing a culvert or you're going somewhere and you're having some skip patching done or something and the road's going to be closed, and I think that'd be a great source for you to put that information out there.
Okay.
You have his number, Todd?
Yeah,
And if you I would also use that general information, that same information, and provide it to dispatch so that if they're having to route somebody or tone somebody to a location, they have that information as well, so that we don't have a fire truck or an ambulance or a sheriff's deputy running to a location and then they see all of a sudden that the road's not passable for one reason or another.
You can put my email on the same one with Dave.
good.
And then I can also share it on our Facebook page too.
All right. Be fine.
And then I know that there was that conflict that caused one of the contractors to pull off the job. The biggest thing that I don't want to see is a mobilization fee. That when they're voluntarily pulling off of a job to go do another job. Last year, we looked at a number of mobilization fees on different things where it was a day-to-day activity. I don't want to see those same mobilization fees when
Mobilization is included in the bid.
mobilization, when they voluntarily pull off our job to go do something else.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all I have. You guys have anything else for me?
The only other thing that we had here for you, Todd, was the enterprise fleet contract. My general inclination right now is to wait. I want to see how things go with the sheriff's department, give that a little bit more time. And then looking at the numbers that you'd sent over, I'd have to be convinced a little bit more about the need for having consistently new vehicles at the highway department. Because I mean, if we aren't experiencing mechanical issues on a vehicle that's I'd have a hard time continuously replacing vehicles when we already have a need on dump trucks that need to be replaced. And those are a higher ticket item than some of the other vehicles that we were talking about in this lease. That's my perspective at least.
I agree, with some of that. You want to upkeep and you want to keep your vehicles current. But I don't see the need as important as emergency vehicles where we're running simultan, those are more important, in my opinion, as far as making sure they're mechanically sound and all that. And the mileage, you guys don't some of them you put some miles on, but those pickup trucks and stuff don't put as many miles on some of those. So I think we have to weigh those costs and see what's a need and a want. And I think, we need to look at our needs. And when we get into those large trucks and dump trucks, of course, enterprise doesn't do that. Most of the costs are going to incur. And if we start putting into these brand new pickup trucks, is that a want or a need? So I think just a little bit deeper dive and look at it.
Yeah, I mean, the cost of that contract is, I mean, it's gonna take only a couple of years. You're gonna be talking about a dump truck.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Not
it's
that
kind of-
we want to look at it.
Okay.
We do a better look at it.
All right, I'll be fine.
I don't think I have anything else.
Mm.
All right, thank you, Todd.
Thank you, John.
Chad Smith, you're on the agenda.
Yes, we did the first reading of the pool ordinance, 2 meetings ago. What I've given you here, the substance of the enforcing ordinance, the fine fee schedules, none of that has changed. There was just some additions to the definition section to move forward.
Yeah, and so I mean, when we're as defined here now, there's public pool definition and a semi-public pool definition. The public pool is any pool of not less than 1,000 gallons, other than those pools defined as semi-public pools, open to the community in general, which is intended to be used for swimming or bathing and is operated by a concierge, owner, lessee, operator, permittee, regardless of whether a fee is charged for use. And then the semi-public swimming pool means any pool that is not less than 1,000 gallons, restricted for use by residents, members, or restricted guests, that is intended to be used for swimming, bathing, or competition, and is operated solely for and in conjunction with schools, universities, colleges, hotels, motels, apartments, condominiums, bed and breakfasts, or similar lodges, lodgings, camps, or mobile home parks, or membership clubs or associations. So I think that's probably the biggest area that you had more
And-
specifically defined.
And also just a specific exclusion of private and residential.
Yep.
That was not in the original, so they made it very clear that they're not authorized individual residents,
Yeah.
private.
Any questions, Brian?
No, I agree with what.
So this is ordinance number 2025-7. I'll make a motion to go ahead and adopt 2025-7.
I'll second that motion. Is this, do we need 3 readings on this or 2? 2.
You seconded.
I said,
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. All right, up next, we have topic for courthouse roof. We received a quote from Double E Roofing to complete the last section there for the roof. The total cost this is for the courthouse, is $29,927.58. We have a certificate of liability here from Double E Roofing.
What was the total, Jeremy?
$29,927.
Well, I'm looking at 24.
That's.
Okay. Okay,
Yep, so that's what I was just looking at here, Brian. 'Cause
okay, all right. I saw 24, I didn't see you
Here
there.
you go. So it's in two separate.
What section is that? They part of the roof, it's not the whole roof,
No,
Just the shingle section.
it's,
it's
I
shingle
believe,
section only.
I believe that to be the
Yes,
case. Yeah.
yeah, shingle section.
Because it's been done in increments now.
Right,
And so these are the last sections that have not been placed.
okay. I make a motion to accept that bid. Get it finished.
I'll second the motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, I said aye as well in my head. Those opposed, motion carries. All right, next topic is interim EMA director. So Brad Spear had resigned, and so at this point, the commissioners need to appoint an interim EMA director. I would nominate Gary, if you're willing to do it, I would submit you as the nominee for interim EMA director. I would make that motion.
So moved.
All right. We have a second then. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Gary is our new EMA interim director.
We do have interviews for EMA directors on June the 9th.
Confused.
That process will
I
take,
think so, yeah.
As of today,
Yes.
correct,
Gary,
that process will take a month or
Yeah.
longer to get to that point.
All right, up next is HVAC review. The ongoing discussions of maintaining the HVAC in the courthouse. We had previously received a bid from Piney when they were here doing some repairs for the last issue. They found an additional problem where one of the valves is not working, that they were going to have to drain the system and then install new valves and material for that system, and then put the coolant back into the system. The bid that was received was $18,450.
Correct.
And so based on that number, additional bids were sought out. And we had received a bid from Turnkey for the same work. That would be $10,779. And then there were additional bids that were received from Piney for a expansion on the heating tank. That total was $7,840. From Turnkey, who also bid that, was $6,287. And then finally, make sure I'm on the right one.
Screens.
Yes. Sorry, I think I just read the first one.
No, you're right on the first one.
No, their shut off valves on the chill or turnkey was $6,785. It looks like. And then their
Water
the control
expansion, 62.
strainers was 10,000. This is for turnkey, $10,779. For Piney, it was $11,730.
Okay, here's my confusion in that.
Yep.
So when we started, replaced one screen and then had an issue where they have to replace some valves. So I think what we need to do is find out what we owe Piney out of that $11,000 bid. And then, because it looks to me, Turnkey's bid is exactly what Piney bid on the first, but Piney's that's already done part of the job.
Yeah, and I have other questions as well as far as the necessity right now of some of these different upgrades.
Right.
System from everyone that I've talked to is working.
Right.
Christie?
2 of our rooms, 2 out of 3
Okay,
are cool. The one is still, the other room is still.
okay. Kathy, what do you hear?
And then down the direction, that's the hallway, and the treasurer's office is still complete.
Okay.
Is it warm? I mean, no,
It's not as warm as the auditor's office was.
Yeah, given the nature of these and the way that they look right now, I at least want to look a little bit more at what it is and then the substance, like you were saying, of the work that was done at this
Right.
point, before we just take that plunge on
I agree.
the additional work there.
I agree. I would really like to know where we stand with that first bid, $11,000, and what percentage of that job was done when they got into this problem of the valves that were not working and had to replace these valves.
Yeah.
So I think that's, we can give it Charlie and have him work on that and figure out what we're at on that bill. But I mean, it needs to be looked at if we want it working.
Yeah, and we need to maintain it. It is an old system. It's going to take constant maintenance,
We haven't got any
but
really warm temperatures yet, but when we do, we'll,
later this week.
it will,
Yeah.
yes, we will hit it. So it needs to be, we need to work on it.
Yeah, it's not something that I want to neglect, but at the same time, I want to make sure that we aren't just constantly
Pouring money into it.
looking at erecting an entirely new system if we don't need to be.
That's what it feels like.
So, because I mean, it's basically been on the agenda this entire year. It's almost like Todd Houck. So,
I was gonna say Rob DeHoff. It's not. So,
okay. Patty, let's put that on the agenda for next meeting, June 16th, and we'll get some more information for that, decide which way we're going there. Up next, we have a fair update. Things are moving right along for the 2025 fair. Last week, we did publish bids for the portalets at the fair. Those bids need to be turned in by June 13th to the auditor's office, and the commissioners will make a decision at the June 16th meeting. That bid, just to give you some information here, they need to include the company's name, contact information. We're asking for a total of 20 units to be placed as determined by the fair committee. They need to be on site at the fairgrounds by July 5th, 2025. They need to remain in place until July 19th. They need to be cleaned every day once they are placed on the fairgrounds. We need a certificate of insurance and also the copy of your state of Indiana Board of Health certificate. So noon, Friday, June 13th is when those bids are due at the auditor's office. As far as events go for the 2025 fair, on July 10th, opening night of the fair, we will have the ATV drags. Those are put on by Wolf. For July 11th, we'll have TQ midgets again. July 12th, that Friday night, we're going to have the demo derby. Saturday night, the 13th, we're looking at the truck drags. On Sunday, the 14th, or I'm sorry,
Yeah,
14th Monday.
Monday, the 14th. We're looking at the tractor pull. And then on Tuesday, the 15th is the rodeo. And we're doing bulls and barrel racing again, I think. Is that right, Chris? So that is the schedule of the events out at the fairgrounds. Additionally, farm and home bathrooms are being remodeled as part of the Ready 2.0 project. Those should be done. There has been tiling for the track, which should greatly improve the ability to get water off of the track. When they were going in and preparing that tiling, they found multiple 10, 20-foot sections of tile that were completely plugged up with tree roots and everything else. So great thanks to the highway department for doing that work. And then also we've tiled in the horse arena and then also on the sides of the horse arena to hopefully alleviate some of their water concerns during the fair.
is the fair parade on the 13th? Is that correct, Sunday?
Fair parade is the 13th, and Chris Ramey is the man that is running that. What time do you kick off on the fair parade,
We
Chris?
roll off at 4, start lining up at 2.
So line up at 2 p.m. and the fair is moving, or the parade is moving at 4. And Chris, the important question is, what's the route?
Good question.
Go onto our Facebook, and
Okay,
it's laid out.
excellent.
We're going through the fairgrounds.
Going through the fair.
We are going away from the horse arena to avoid any type of disturbance to them. But we will be going to the fairgrounds, except for I have 2 semis that will have to go straight up park. They can't go through the fairgrounds.
I do want to say Chris has done a great job running the fair the last couple of years.
Why do you say that with hesitancy?
No, he's done a great job with it the last couple of years. He's doing another fantastic job with it this year.
He hesitated for a minute. I caught that.
So I do greatly appreciate everybody on the
Yes.
fair committee for getting this fair rocking and rolling. Up next, we have a request for use of facilities. So the northeast corner by Washington and Franklin, if that's closed, then it would be on the southeast corner. This is for the Decatur Shelby County YMCA to have a non-competitive bicycle ride. Lunch will be served, live music will be played from 11:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. They will need electricity. The event is on June 28, 2025. And we do have a certificate of insurance. We do.
I would make a motion to approve the use of the facilities.
I'll second that motion, and all those in favor say aye. Aye. And those opposed, motion carries. I've reached the end of my agenda.
I would like to introduce our new Veteran Affairs Officer.
Yes.
Ken Mobley. Ken, would you stand up? We know that Mike Bumgarner retired recently, and we did some interviews, and Ken was an outstanding applicant. We hired him, and so far, so good, right,
So
Ken?
far, so good.
Anything you'd like to say?
Nope, I jumped into the deep end and getting used to everything. Christy and I have already talked on budgets and where we're at and what Mike's got already budgeted out for us. And then just trying to see where I can plug in and make our organization great for the county.
Did you have any luck with IT getting some things that you needed?
I think I'm pretty sure I can squeeze it into our budget for a computer and a docking station. There are other needs, but I'm trying to see what our budget has, and then if I need anything else, I'll present it. She gave me some information on how to present that in order to get things done, because it was lacking. So getting a computer and docking station will be a start, and then we can continue on from there.
Great. Welcome aboard.
Well,
But thank you.
going to do great things with your personality and your drive to do that job. Doug, BZA meeting Wednesday night, June 4th, Greensburg High School.
The high school at the auditorium.
What time? 7 o'clock?
The APC is going to meet before the BZA. That will be at 6:30. We do have 5 petitions on the agenda, but technically the BZA meeting is at 7 o'clock. But I look forward to be later than that because of petitions in APC. But by legal notice at 7 o'clock.
Excellent. Sheriff, anything?
Yes, sir.
Gary?
Want to give you guys an update on the multi-hazardous mitigation plan. The grant was stopped on April 7th, and it was started back up. Or maybe it was April 21st, but it was started back up last 2 weeks ago, I guess. What I handed you there, you have to have a mitigation plan team meeting. And I've got it scheduled for the 24th from 8:30 to 11. It's a 3-hour meeting. We'll be going over natural hazards like flash floods, storms, tornadoes, earthquakes, extreme temperature. And I've got almost 100 people on this list to invite to the meeting. I figure if I get 25%, I will be doing excellent. And I talked to a consultant about that, and she said 25 to 50 people per. But we have to have people from Greensburg, at least one commissioner, has to be any incorporated town. There has to be a representative. So I got all the volunteer fire departments that if they all show up, they could, be that town's representative, but I'm also sending out to the town boards. I think, the other thing is the county's portion of this grant is about $7,000. But every time we have a meeting, and anytime I work on it, or anytime Brad worked on it, I went back and tried to figure out how much time he'd spent on it, we can charge that money back against our part of the grant. I've asked Christie, her group, they're going to help me figure out how much by the hour whoever works on this is getting paid. And then I also had the technology group and dispatch. They helped me last week. I had to get 5 years worth of runs for the fire department. And they helped me. I've got that all sent in, and that's done. So I met with the consultant the day after she told me that I got the email that the grant had been renewed, that they put the money back in. I met with her for about 2.5 hours on a team meeting, and I think we got this thing lined out and we're going pretty good.
Good.
But this, I just want you guys to see who I'm inviting, and we'll see how many show up.
It's a great list of people.
I hope to have the email put out by Friday.
Perfect.
Invitation.
I believe I can make that.
You're our EMA representative.
I-
You guys have any other questions?
June 24th, right?
Yeah, June 24th.
Where are you having it at?
We'll have it in the big room out there, the training room out there.
Yeah, should be able to do that. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Gary.
Gary.
Anything else? Leanne?
Just a couple of things. Brian, myself, and a small committee set aside from 911 did the interlocal agreement between city and county. We got our final copy from Ritter. That was sent out. I was out last week, but the week right before, actually, I think Friday that I was gone, I pushed that out to everybody.
I sent it to Chad.
And I was going to ask you if the commissioners had a chance to review it or the attorneys, because we do have a 911 meeting Wednesday. So I'm assuming, Brian, you might or possible? No. Okay.
I forwarded that to the two commissioners and Chad.
Okay.
And I know Chad's got a bunch of stuff. He's actually on it, and he's working on things. So
Sure.
he's got a pile, but
Okay.
he and I spoke before the meeting, and I don't think he'll have a chance
That's fine.
to have it by then.
Okay. Just wasn't sure how to present that at the Wednesday meeting, but I'll let you talk about that. And then the other thing was our equipment got ordered before I left last week.
Good.
So we're just now for the tower up the repairs and the update. So that is on order. Hopefully we'll get it here within the next couple of weeks and we can have a date for start.
Perfect. Good deal.
Tomorrow's our special meeting with the council to get that final approval, but they did allow me to go ahead and order.
See you there.
All right.
Very good.
Yes, sir.
And I do have all the documents I need pulled for Virginia Fairgrounds.
Right.
The equipment, labor, material. Should have that all filed, I'll send it to you guys.
Yeah, send it to me and I can make sure that we forward that on as part of our ready packet. Because the course arena and all of that has been included in the Ready 2.0 submit.
So we can use that as in kind.
And so it'll be part of the county contribution.
Okay.
That original $1.2 million commitment from the county, since we had county funds that were used for that, that would be part of
Good.
our contribution there. And then have you gotten a number back, since we're on that topic, Todd, for, it was my understanding that we had excess tile
Yeah.
from the project. And
Several
some of that
$1,000s.
would be sent back. Some of that would be sent back to get a reimbursement on the excess.
Well, there's bills for the purchases, there's credits for what we took back. So yeah, I've got all that information.
Okay.
So
Yep.
after I get everything totaled, I'll give you copies of all those documents
Perfect.
where you can see all that. And then the other thing I got, have you got any updates on the dump tipping?
Yeah. So I'll have to talk to you about that.
Okay.
All right. Anybody else? Larry?
Any updates on the comprehensive plan, how the surveys,
We have,
participation in it?
give me 1 second, if I can give you a date and a specific update here. So next Wednesday, the group that is getting together, APC, BZA, Doug, me, are meeting to select the entity that is then that we're going to be working with to write it. So we aren't to the point yet where we are putting together focus groups or anything like that.
How's the survey, people getting it pretty good?
As of May 19th, there's 138, 32. As
So
of,
not enough.
yeah.
A good number, but not enough.
So about, and then I got about 4 in the mail today. But that, like I said, May 19th, that was a solid week. Like I said, the last one, there was 220, I think, total.
Yeah. So we would like to see more people take the survey.
Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Ramey?
I will add, I spoke to, what's the name, Serpsey?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I spoke to them.
Corey.
Yeah, they are going to have a booth at the fair. But when they're there, they'll be able to help people through it. And they're not there, they're gonna have QR codes, some different things put up in their booth that'll talk about how to go on and do that.
Great.
good. That's good.
I think it helped a lot of people if they just had an internet link, they could just hit via the QR code, stumbled a few of them.
And I've got the link, and I think it's on the website.
Yeah.
Yeah, just now, yeah. And maybe you just back through the county web, the Facebook pages and stuff just to hit again.
Yeah.
It's good to
Some chatter. It has some chatter and stuff going out there, people trying to help, they just ask questions, other people say, you need to do this, then it'll. So I think the interest is there.
We could
need to
resend it, resend it.
just resend it, I think, maybe you can pick up another 50 or so.
Leanne, I saw you were bidding back there.
Yeah. The changes with the county SOPs are those, which was regarding payroll holidays. Is that something that Chad's on review of, or do you guys have talked about it? Our SOPs are getting changes, are in the final stages. So Ritter has asked me, so I told him there's 2 of them that's going to reflect whatever the county policy
Yeah,
says. So I
so-
put ours on hold.
We had just received, what day was that, the overtime?
Patty says.
Is that,
That was last week.
Last week.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
So we haven't had a chance to
Okay.
formally adopt anything there.
They were asking, I said, well, I haven't heard anything lately, but I would just ask.
I would anticipate that we should probably put that on the
Next agenda.
next commissioners meeting.
Maybe within the month.
Yeah, it'll be,
Hopefully that next commissioners meeting, we can have that finalized.
Okay. Just something to pass on to them.
Perfect.
Okay, thank you.
thanks for the reminder.
Anyone else? Once going twice. I would entertain a motion to recess.
So moved.
We are recessed.
Okay, how much time do these meetings go in here?
It is, it's a short one.